So tonight I'm looking at using guitar pedals for the purpose of mixing a track. Got this Germanium Overdrive, this big Muff Fuzz Pedal, and also the tape echo over there. I found a car that made me feel proud. Something you'll always hear about in analog recording, digital recording, is saturation. In the context of analog recording, it's normally the natural distortion, compression, and harmonics you get added to a sound when you go through a hardware unit, whether that be a compressor, an EQ, or a preamp, or just recording to tape. In the context of digital recording, it's normally plugin manufacturers talking about how their plugin will emulate that saturation that comes from hardware units or from tape itself. And I've got loads of them, some that cost a bit of money, some that were sort of free, some that were cheap. And I've done a lot of videos on this channel on the 8-track cassette machine. So saturation is always something that I feel like I focus on. Some people settle on a hybrid. They might have their computer as the recording device. They might send out certain sounds to certain hardware units, which can get quite expensive. And some people just do it entirely in the box and just like the sound of the plugins. The technology is really good now. But I wanted to try these. I think originally because I saw someone advertising the emulation of a vintage desk, and they said it had Germanium transistors, the original unit, and they perfectly emulated it and all this. But that does have actual Germanium transistors in it, and I'm not saying it's going to be as high end as a Neve console or something, but I mean it's real, it's physically affecting the audio, and it's not expensive. So I'm going to take you through a recording. It's all a digital recording. I think I recorded it quite well, but we're going to see how these pedals enhance the sound also in a creative way. I mean, that can get some cool sounds that you wouldn't really associate with plugins. So the song itself is a folk track that I want to sound very organic and very human. A couple of guitars and then some overdubs. We've got xylophone, tambourine as well, and lots of, as you can see here, parts that have been sent out to the pedals, to the tape echo. So first we'll just do the tape echo, and if you've seen any of my other videos, I use this all the time. So this is the first acoustic guitar mic. I've got this acoustic riff. We can pan them one left, one right. It's just a nice stereo recording done with this XY pair. But I sent, I think it was the body, because I wanted more of the richness to it. I sent the body mic out to this tape echo. So this is what gets returned after you send it to the tape echo. It's a little messy. I think it was an old tape loop, so it's a bit gritty as well. And the timing's not perfect, because you don't get to set the exact time. You have a choice of 4 playheads. But you can blend that in. With the other 2 mics. That sounds quite nice, but there's also other ways you can play with it in the stereo field. You might want to, we've got 2 guitars in here, so it might be nice to have one more left, one more right. So I can center the body mic and just have the neck panned. And then it might be nice to send the echo over to the left. It's quite nice. You have the depending on how wide you want it, you could have the echo in the middle. Or on the other side. Kind of like a Van Halen thing, but not quite the same genre. So that's very nice. I've not sent either of these 2 acoustics out to the pedals yet. I have sent the other acoustics out to the pedals, so I'll show you them quickly now because that's quite fun. So this is just a little backup. It just does an chord and then repeats the little, you would really call it bass line, but the low notes here. And this was just recorded in mono. here we have what it sounds like going through this one, which is the Germanium one. It's the one, sorry, this chair's really squeaky. It's the one I'm hoping most emulates a desk or a vintage desk, and cranking up the so let's see how it sounds. Obviously it's quite distorted, you wouldn't use it on its own, but as a blend with the dry signal. So if you put the original and then the, so we can blend the two together now. It'd be better to use a different part as an example. This one's too sparse. So yeah, take those three chords. That was before. Then after. So you can see it does get that kind of same richness that I'd expect. That's why I would do it, to get that kind of sound. I'm putting a bit more extreme than I would, just so you can actually hear it, because if you're watching on a TV or on a phone or something, you're not going to hear, so I'll make it more extreme. But really, I'd do it something like that. You can try panning it too. See what I mean? You get that width. I found that if you take a mono recording and you send it to a pedal and pan the pedal, pan them opposite sides, there's enough differences between the two sounds to make it appear stereo to our mind psychoacoustically. So again, you can sort of play around with the stereo field. We've also got, I sent it out twice to two different echoes. So the first tape echo was this. Long feedback and a sort of self-oscillation. There you can hear it. Sounds almost like a guitar amp feedback. And then this other one's just more of a long, louder delay, but less faff at the end. And then those two together. Just the two echoes together. Oh, get rid of you. Again, you can pan these. So it leaves so much room for playing around with the stereo image. That's quite cool. You have them panned slightly in, like 30 each, and then these ones super wide. Yeah, it's nice. It's just more interesting than this. Even just using the pedal, it's slightly more interesting. So if we take that off again, that would be good, because just as a quick example, this guitar here is quite narrow. Even if I did full stereo, because of the XY mic setup, it's not a super wide stereo image. This whole sort of thing, you've got the main guitar focus there, and then this stuff is going around. Obviously EQ isn't in yet, nothing's been EQ'd, this is all as recorded. Let's see what else we've got it on. Oh, let's do the fuzz pedal. So we do have, again, we've got another, this is just doing a high up A minor. That's all it is, that's all that's doing. But, this nice. It's got that breakup, that nice like fuzzy breakup, which is a setting on this pedal. If you turn, I think it's the volts, there's a certain relationship between the volts and the bias on this, where it starts to get like a drained battery sound. I think that's how they pitched it. That's how their marketing team decided to pitch it, and that sounds nice. It's got a fizzle to it. So again, just blending the dry with the wet. Again, you can pan, get a nice little wide, interesting stereo image there. There might be a slight delay. I have to account for the fact that when it's sent out to a pedal and back in, it might not be recording it at exactly the same time. So you probably do get a little bit of a harsh effect. But you can always check for the phase here. So it looks to be in phase because when that one dips, and it doesn't sound problematic to me. It's always worth checking that you don't get too big of a delay. Let's see. So now, as I promised, the fuzz pedals. So here. So this is a guitar that just comes in for the middle section. And this is how it is dry. It's double tracked, I should say. So this isn't a stereo miking. That's why it sounds so wide, because it's two mono ones played separately. But as well as doing the echo, I'll skip over the echo because we've done that. You can see the big muff. So this left one here has been sent to a big muff. So this is the one we're sending to the big muff, the fuzz pedal. And that comes back as it's nice and warm. It's got good sustain on it. It's not something you'd normally associate with acoustic instruments, but then you get these really nice 3D sounds from experimenting like that. So as well as sending this to the fuzz pedal, I also sent it to the Germanium Overdrive, just to give us options really. If I blend that big muff fuzz pedal take in with that, you get, take it down, pan them the same way. Let's pan them both in the middle. See, it's nice sustain with it. You get a texture. You get it's all about texture. This whole video is about texture. But then I used the big muff in a more sort of purposeful way, I suppose, here with this guitar riff. So I've got a guitar that sort of mirrors the main riff of the acoustic guitar part from the beginning. And that has been sent to a ton of stuff to give me options again later in the mix. So each one sounds different because it depends what the settings are at the time. Just a bit of something. This is all just about adding accumulative little bits of something. And then the fuzz. So I thought it'd be cool if this riff was actually doubled, or sounded like it was doubled on a fuzz guitar. And I'll play it with the original acoustic. I'll play it with both acoustics. Let's put both in. So it's like another part. It's like having another guitar there, and it's something you could do live, because you could have a lead going from an acoustic pickup to a splitter, send one out to a fuzz pedal, have one through the PA, and then why stop there? Why not then send the fuzz? That's the cool thing, you can double dip. So you can send the fuzz pedal out through another pedal. So that's the fuzz going through the tape echo. And then that's just more richness. I did a previous mix of this and it did sound quite clean, so if you're hearing a load of fuzzy noise, it doesn't actually, you don't have to have it all sounding fuzzy, but very real textures. It's all physical. I can't tell if it's like a placebo effect, but I think there's something really cool about it going through a physical process. So one of the things I really like about the analog drum machine I have is every kick or every snare is slightly different, which you wouldn't get with a sample. A sample is, it's the same every time. There's kind of like a living quality to physical things. Then I sent the clean one through the tape echo, so I've got the fuzz tape echo here, and the clean tape echo. And again, you can just add them all up, put in the main fuzz. So both tape echoes, the fuzz, this weird, just the pedal saturation. So both mics are individually going through the pedal as well. I went overkill on this. That's a wide lead guitar from just one part. Obviously the proportions are all kind of messed up at the moment. They will be subtle. It's not meant to be the whole thing, but that's just a boring normal clean guitar. Nothing is done to that. Tambourine. You know what? I normally send. I've done this thing where I send glockenspiels through fuzz pedals, and it does crazy things. I've not done it here. I'll do another session because I have got one where I did it. It's a different song, so I'll open up that for a different video, and you can see it does some crazy things once it goes through them. And you put that subtly behind. It does mental stuff. But you put that very slightly behind just a normal glockenspiel, and it's beautiful. It really is. This is just a standard. No pedals there. But yeah, for me and for this album I'm recording, I really want it to be all about the textures and the feels. So I've put in little things like this. Like this is English Countryside Birds, which I went out and recorded. And then the xylophone is recorded or tried to be recorded really intimately. So it's just like the guys right next to you. So you've got this kind of wide ambience of the birds. You've got rich textures of the guitars and the textures of it going through real things. And then you've got a little intimate recording of a glockenspiel. A tambourine that hits like once every 20 minutes. So yeah, it's just nice. Ooh. See how that came in? Feedback, the self-oscillation on the tape echo. So you've got this big, just everywhere. So I'm hoping by the end, once it's mixed, there's just a stereo field full of textures, and hopefully it sounds quite good. I'll put in the vocal guide, which will probably end up being the real thing. I don't like recording vocals that much. It's not mixed, and I hope that when it is, it sounds a bit better. But just a little delay on it, I think, a little slapback. Just the digital, it's not been sent to anything. When troubles weigh it down, I like the calm that will follow every storm, a cozy shade of green, a soothing petrichor. I like the quiet when the world has gone to bed, the yellow supermoon, the stars above. That's my £4 guitar. I went to the car boot sale recently and I got this for £4. Quite nice. For £4. It's got a distinct sound. Anyway, so yeah, that's my little video on using pedals for plugins. God bless and good night.